Hey everybody, it's the Merry Mando. What's up? How are y'all doing today? We are back, another video. Today we're going to be doing a podcast with my boy Cameron here.
How's it going?
So, Cameron, go ahead and give us your intro, your background, where you're from, what you're about, what you do, what you like.
Well, I've grown up with Star Wars, that's for sure. It's got a pretty heavy influence in my life, whether it be entertainment, references, just my dialogue in general. I grew up with that. My dad, I think he saw the first one when he was 7 years old, and ever since then he's been the biggest fan, and that's what I got stuck with, and I'm perfectly okay with it. I met Jared here in high school. We went to high school together, and we both obviously figured out that we love Star Wars. We've seen quite a few of the newer projects together and enjoyed them thoroughly. It gave us a lot of things to talk about. We like to read a lot of the comics, books, so we both go pretty heavy into the lore and things that have happened, whether they're canon or not. So yeah, it was really nice. I don't have too many other friends that are as deep into Star Wars as he is, so it definitely allowed us to talk about quite a bit of different things. So.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy partaking in the sweaty nerd conversations every once in a while.
Geek Squad, man.
Yeah. So I guess we can go ahead and get right into this. So what is your first memory of Star Wars? Like the first thing that you think of when you think Star Wars, you think back maybe the first time you saw it, remember it.
For me, it would have to be Episode 3. I saw that when I was really little, and I mean, this is surprisingly one of my first memories that I could fully recall out of the very few from when I was so young.
Right.
Obviously, I had seen plenty of Star Wars stuff up until that point because of my dad liking it so much, but the first time I really recall it was in the movie theaters. I saw Episode 3, and that was fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in the movie theater. I don't know what to expect. All I know is that my dad said we're going to go see Star Wars, and I was excited. I loved it just like he did.
Right.
And then the opening. Oh my God, the opening. I'd never seen anything like it. I was sitting there, super small, probably like 3.5 feet tall, and then all of a sudden it just opens up, and there's just a huge battlefield in space above a planet, explosions, space combat, ships go flying right past the screen. I had no idea what was going on, but it was great.
Yeah.
So that's always a really cool memory. I definitely think it's part of the reason why Episode 3 is pretty high up on my list too. And not only do I find it to be a pretty good movie, also just that being my first memory, I think just really stuck straight into my mind and just kind of helped with what I like and things. I mean, I love space movies especially. That stuck with me forever. So
yeah, I think it definitely is a lot to take in for a young kid. I mean, you've got this mechanical monster of General Grievous that you see within the first couple scenes, and you're just like, what is this man?
I think it's funny too at that point. I mean, he didn't even scare me either. I mean, I probably would have assumed that I should have been scared by how he looked.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know how I was smart enough to do this, but I had seen Friday the 13th on TV upstairs. I somehow ended up on that and watched it, no problem. Yet, oddly enough, I was scared by the Mummy movies.
What about Sidious? Sidious, any weird vibes?
He was definitely weird.
Yeah?
Yeah. He bothered me a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie, seeing that fool legit get electrocuted in that in his council room or whatever, that definitely had me jacked up as a kid. I was like, what is up with this guy? His face is melting.
Yeah, it's messed up. My dad told me at one point when I brought it up to him years later, he told me that when we saw that in theaters, that when he was getting electrocuted, I was sitting forward in my seat, just wide eyed. And I was like, what is happening?
It's literally one of the craziest things to ever watch. I'm telling you, it's just visually one of the coolest movies I think you can look at.
It still looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you make a movie like that in the early 2000s and it still looks that good?
It's crazy. I mean, that's the one thing that I felt like George Lucas probably really wanted to do with the originals and just didn't have the technology to do. So the prequels were so colorful and beautiful, and I mean, vibrant colors everywhere. Like, that's just one really important theme I think from the prequels to take away.
Honestly, just real quick too, I think it kind of worked out almost in his favor though, because I mean we had these movies, you know, all the prequels were in like supposed to kind of be the dawn of everything, like, you know, the beginning of it all is how you're seeing it, at least in terms of the movies and stuff, without having any book knowledge, things like that. And you know, after the Republic falls, then you kind of go into the Dark Ages, and I mean,
well, I mean, a lot of the originals take place in Outer Rim. I mean, realistically, the one splash of color I guess you really do get is probably Bespin, you know? Yeah. I mean, that's the one, I think, change of scenery where you're like, whoa, like, where are we at right now? Yeah.
And even back then, those were still amazing. I mean,
oh yeah, for its time, yeah, for
just
the fact that we can still look back on the originals and they still hold up is absolutely crazy to me.
Legendary to me.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows the lasting power that George Lucas has.
Yeah.
So, but I think that was good. Let's go ahead and ask, what is your favorite Star Wars project? So when I say project, I mean it can be a movie, it can be a TV show, it can be a video game. It doesn't matter if it's Star Wars, it counts. So go ahead and give us your favorite Star Wars project.
Probably have to say season 6, I believe, of the Clone Wars.
Season 6 was a good one. I mean, you've got Ahsoka basically being blamed for, I think it was a bombing attempt at the Jedi Temple, and basically taking the fall, getting excommunicated from the Jedi Order, being imprisoned by the Republic, and facing trial from the Senate. So, crazy thing.
Yeah.
You definitely don't see anything like that. I mean,
definitely.
And she goes out with Asajj Ventress trying to prove her innocence, basically, and the only person that even has a slight inclination to believe her is Anakin.
Yeah.
And I think he really goes above and beyond as to show how much he cares about her, and even though all the evidence is stacked against her, he still believes in her. Which says a lot about Anakin's character.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool too, though, especially because even with all that, I mean, you know, it's supposed to really be a season that's around, you know, in my opinion, at least, kind of about what you choose to believe. You know, trying to do right from wrong, no matter, even if something seems like it's the other way around. You know, believing that it's not that way. And, you know, it was really nice to see that. Definitely a change of pace for the show at that point too. They had a lot of really cool arcs before then, but that one just seemed to stick out a lot compared to most of the other ones. And you get to see Anakin and his experience with everything happening, and you kind of start seeing little glimpses of him losing hope in the Jedi Order, and glimpses of him losing hope just in general. I mean,
and I think that's where Ahsoka obviously completely loses hope in the Jedi Order, and I mean, it really sets up well for my favorite season, season 7.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, you know, you don't get season 7 without season 6, obviously. Like, I mean, it set it up absolutely perfectly.
Definitely.
You know? So, I definitely, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch Ahsoka be treated the way that she was. As some sort of villain or criminal. I think you see Tarkin a few times, and, like, Tarkin's just that guy everyone loves to hate, so, you know, like, he's sitting here basically, you know, trolling our favorite character, and, you know.
Of course he is. All the time.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, I also, I mean, season 7 was really my next step. It was hard for me to kind of differentiate between the two. I mean, for me, I almost can kind of just morph them together as one, but obviously they're not, so you got to split them.
Season 7 was great. I really liked Season 7. I mean, obviously, that's got to be, like, one of the best things I've ever seen. Like, even, I mean, it's just, it's crazy. Like, when they brought back Ray Park to do that mall fight scene with Ahsoka, I was on the edge of my seat. I was literally losing it.
Yeah,
so
amazing. You could tell too, just in the way the fighting was. I mean, everything before that was just really straightforward, just downs, sides, slashes, and then that, like, they were flipping and jumping, and actually, like, you could see them bouncing on the floor in actual footwork.
Yeah,
and I was
it
like,
was really cool. I don't know if you've seen the side by side video, but I was just like, it's actually crazy. But definitely a great season, and you know, I really enjoyed that. But season 6, what makes you choose an animated series over every movie, game in the franchise?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what puts it above? And I'm not saying, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think the Clone Wars did so much for the franchise that, like, I can't hate on anybody that likes that more. I mean, it added so much to the lore, and it included the casual fan so much that realistically, you've got all these people who know a lot about Star Wars now that didn't really have to do a whole lot of work or read through thousands of books to find lore. You know what I mean?
That honestly is my reason. You actually just kind of answered it for me.
Yeah.
I just think it's really cool. I mean, one, even for me, I mean, sure, I had read some of the books and knew some of the backstory and whatnot, but seeing some of those things end up in a show, and then also them creating new background and stuff just to kind of fill in those voids, make everything make more sense. Because of course, I mean, sure, Star Wars movies are all long, but you only get so much in 2.5 hours either way, you know. If they wanted to do all of the really big, great chunks of the Clone Wars and put them all in movies, the whole prequel trilogy instead would have been 6 movies. You know? And I mean,
they still would have ended up cutting stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just really cool to see all that background, all the things that happened in between. You get more in depth of the Clone Wars. You get to see the struggles. You get to see Anakin slowly changing a little bit more.
I think,
and it becomes much more convincing as well. I mean, season 6, like I mentioned, you know, one of the peaks that you get to see is when he's fighting Barriss Offee, and you know he's holding back. He's trying to be a Jedi, do his thing. He's not there to kill her, and then once she gets the upper hand for a second and knocks him off the building, you see his ego kick in a little bit. After all, he is the chosen one, and there were plenty of times in the comics and the books that he showed that off, you know. And then all of a sudden he just gets mad, and he starts slashing down her with this big Vader style swings too, and he's just breaking her down. And she's getting scared. He is genuinely scaring her, and she fears for her life. And then even after he disarms her, he slams her up against the wall with the Force. And at that moment, you can see in his eyes, you can tell, like, it wouldn't have surprised me if he threw in a little bit of Force choke in that moment.
Right.
And then, and then he cut out, and then he was like, realized what he was doing, and he stopped.
Anger's not the way of the Jedi.
And let them take over, yeah. And really sucks too, because like that all wraps back around into season 7. You know, I mean, he's still being manipulated by Palpatine at the time, and you can even see some of that in season 7, especially.
Yeah, you see that. That's actually a main theme throughout the entire show. I mean, realistically,
every time they're together.
And I thought that was really done well. I mean, honestly, having that underlying theme of the long game that Palpatine was playing, because Palpatine knew.
Yeah.
Palpatine knew for
planned it the whole time.
Yeah, mastermind.
Or Darth Maul.
Yeah. So I guess next we're gonna see what are you looking forward to most, as far as future projects, or which this could be confirmed or non-confirmed, or something that you just kind of want to see. I mean, this is not got to be anything specific. Obviously, really the only thing out there right now is really probably the Obi-Wan TV show. But
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In terms of confirmed stuff, sadly we don't have too much confirmed at the moment. I mean, we got the Mandalorian going right now, and of course I'm excited to see where that continues going.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
And then you got Obi-Wan series just confirmed recently. I'm curious what they're going to choose for that because, you know, we have seen a lot of Obi-Wan. I mean, he's been in Clone Wars. He was
back
in the
Aiden
prequels.
Christensen. Please.
That'd be nice.
I love him. I want to see more of him.
And
y'all gave him too much crap. Y'all know it.
True. Yeah, I mean, really, for the most part, I'd blame some of the script issues, not really acting in my opinion.
Y'all all thought it was bad. Now we have the sequels.
It's not his fault.
Now what do you think? You are fools.
It's not Hayden Christensen's fault that he had to have a whole moment talking about how he hates sand. That's not his fault.
You know, just kind of a side note. In one of the comics, it's talked about like Luke is. I don't even remember which comic it was, but like Luke is talking. You know, he's like in a dialogue, and he talks about how he loves sand. I'm like, so how are you Anakin's son? Like, but,
oh man,
yeah,
that's great.
It's awesome.
But yeah, no, I mean we've seen a lot of Obi-Wan. I mean, you know, we see him all throughout the Clone Wars. Obviously, he's in every single prequel movie, and then he dies in Episode 4, and he was in a super small snippet of Rebels. You know, at the way end.
Literally
basically.
one of the coolest moments in that show.
I know, right? And so really, all we get is some time between Episode 3 and 4. So I'm curious what they're gonna do with that.
Obi-Wan is, in my opinion, the most. I want to say the most perfect vision of a Jedi that you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately, you know, it's talked about like how he didn't have a whole lot of physical attributes or natural talent, and he had to work very hard for what he did know. And I just think he's the perfect embodiment of a Jedi. And I'm not saying that, like, you know, obviously you've got Jedi like Luke, and even Anakin was a good Jedi, but you know, like, as far as the perfect embodiment of what a Jedi should be, I think I always look to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely wish the embodiment could have been more towards the lines of course, per the Jedi Order rules, because they would dictate what the perfect Jedi would be realistically, but I really
Qui-Gon technically is the perfect one. I mean, if you're gonna, if you're gonna sit here and say, because realistically, Qui-Gon follows the will of the Force.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what the Jedi Council says. He doesn't care about the deliberation, and really, at the end of the day, he's going to do what the will of the Force makes him do, or
he was willing to go outside of the box.
Well,
he wanted to get it done,
and I respect that, but I felt like he passed that down to Obi-Wan in a way. I'm not sure that. I mean, Obi-Wan challenged where he could.
Yeah.
I think, but I just feel like as far as just the moral character that I look for in a Jedi and just the general balance, like he's not the greatest with a lightsaber, but he's good. Yeah. He's not the greatest with the Force, but he's good, and he just overwhelmingly instills the principles of what a Jedi should be.
And then still, he always finds a way to try to make himself come on top. He always keeps pushing. He's not the best, and he knows he's not the best. But he's going to try until he makes it. You know what I mean? He's a modest person.
Yeah.
And in Episode 3, whenever Yoda and him are talking, and Obi-Wan, he had the option of going after Anakin or the Chancellor, and it's like, okay, I either go after the Chancellor and die, or I go after Anakin and I might have to kill my own brother. It's just like, and he was fully able to admit that he would die going up against the Chancellor, or the Emperor,
rather than go up against.
Yeah, and that
at that point, Vader.
That's always cool to see too, because I mean, there's plenty of Jedi that would be super egotistical and be like, "No, I got this. Like, let's go."
Yeah.
Like. Even Mace Windu, the most traditionalist one, is like, no, everything has to be this way, and that's part of the reason he wasn't into Anakin. It's like he's too old, he's doing this, he's doing that, I don't like it, and just never liked him, never gave him a chance because he was such a
Which is-
traditionalist.
yeah.
He thought he could take on the Emperor for sure. He was just like, nah, I'm gonna mess him up. Let's go.
Well, he could. I mean, make no mistake.
True. Yeah.
Windu won that fight.
Chance.
Windu definitely won that fight. But I just think that.
Stupid Anakin, how dare you? You messed everything up, Anakin.
Well, let's be honest. Mace Windu messed everything up.
The
reason that I think is, or the reason that I feel like Anakin is who he is and didn't trust Mace the way he should have is because Mace was not there for him his entire childhood growing up.
He treated him like an outsider.
Yeah.
He treated him like he wasn't meant to be
Yeah,
there.
and I think that at a certain point that does something to the psyche of a child.
Yeah.
So realistically, he got what he deserved. I mean it's sad, it sucks, but, it's just one of those things like, you gave this kid the cold shoulder his entire life, and then the one time that he does something right, you're like, yeah, go sit in the council chambers, we got this.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Well, one thing I did think was funny, like, he's like, no, he has to stand trial. I'm like, okay, like Dooku did? Like, what? Yeah, because Dooku got to stand trial after you executed him? Like, what?
Yeah.
Bruh, what? Like,
That's why it sucks, too. I mean, at that point, Anakin had been still molded enough. I mean,
well, manipulated enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a direct manipulation by the thing is, when you've got literally the Chancellor of the Republic telling you to execute someone, I think that gives you a little bit of political amnesty.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even then, it's like, dude, you're sitting here telling them not to execute the Chancellor, even though you know he's a Sith and he's evil. And he just killed, like, 6 Jedi, like, but hey, whatever, like, he needs to stand trial.
It's all good.
Dooku didn't even kill anybody. Like, I mean, well, he did, but, like, not then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's not like the Emperor is going to be in some cell who, to them, he's the most powerful Sith Lord, and he's going to blow the doors off with the Force, electrocute somebody to death, like unless they want to basically put him to sleep the whole time.
they would have had to put him in one of those cages that they put Maul in at the end of 7.
And there was only one of those, if I recall properly.
Yeah, the last one, apparently.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it's like, but yeah.
Alright, I guess on to the next one. So what character would you say that you relate to most in the Star Wars universe?
Alright. So I'm not trying to... I'm going to express this beforehand. I don't think I fully relate to him. I would say I partially relate to him. Because obviously I'm not the most suffering person ever. I have a pretty decent life going for me at least. But I would probably say Darth Maul. Personally, it just I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life, and I mean, it always seems to revolve back, and no matter what I try to do about it. But of course, for me, I'm always optimistic in a good way. Darth Maul, on the other hand, is optimistic and I'm gonna be the biggest beast ever. But he always. He gets knocked down, he still gets back up, but then later on it just seems like he just ends up getting knocked down by the same things over and over again.
I mean, he rebuilds.
Yeah.
And I think that's a important part about his character.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically have, a baby who was tortured his entire life under Sidious, or at least according to legends.
Yeah.
And, he overcomes that to basically become a skilled assassin and second to Sidious.
Yeah.
And realistically, like, he overcomes all the challenges that Sidious puts in his way. I'm pretty sure Sidious killed, like, one of the chicks he liked at one point, which was kind of jacked up. And then, and then, I mean, obviously,
this isn't cut. The Jedi Order, bro. You're allowed to have love in the Sith.
Getting cut in half by Obi-Wan probably wasn't a very great day for him either.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to see him once again come back and rebuild and basically go on this galactic conquest with Savage Opress.
Yeah, I've done that.
I mean, but the point being is, like, here he is, like, mentally deranged and, like, dead at the bottom of a cave, basically, and like, even after all of that, is able to kind of get up and become this Sith Lord and, you know, try to rival Sidious. And I thought that was, you know, cool. I mean, obviously his aspirations were way over what he thought he could do.
Yeah.
But, you know, like
in the aspect of that, I mean, obviously I'm not a Sith Lord trying to rule the galaxy.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
just,
you know, he definitely went through it. I
Yeah.
mean, because, I mean, even after that, you know, like, he's taken down again. His brother is killed by Sidious, and he still finds a way to make the most of it. I mean, realistically, starts the Black Sun, or gets the Black Suns and the Mandalorians together in the Pike Syndicate, and forms this Shadow Collective. Like, that's pretty awesome. I mean, these guys were literally rivaling the Confederacy and the Republic by themselves. Like, that's insane. Like, I don't know. I think it's a really cool thing, and had his aspirations been where they should have been, I think he's alive today, and he doesn't care what either one of these groups are doing. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things. Revenge is an evil, evil thing.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So just switch a couple things around, and I mean, yeah, I guess I can kind of relate to him.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only reason I can think of that too is just he is my favorite character. I mean, he's definitely a tragic character. My life's not a tragedy, obviously, and I'm pretty okay.
Right.
But it's just, you know, you just look at how many times he gets knocked down and he just keeps getting back up. Everything that he does, it just seems like it always rolls back at some point to catch him off guard. And I've had that happen a lot. And this is kind of cool to just, I guess, think about. You know, I've never thought about that really before until you just brought it up. But it's just kind of like interesting that, you know, the character that I like the most, I find him really interesting. And in some ways I can relate to a little bit. Just, you know, because I mean, I've had a lot of stuff happen. Definitely, a lot of things I've told you about.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I still keep pushing. Of course, I got a better goal than he did.
Yeah.
So I didn't get chopped in half either.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, Maul definitely. I mean, that's got to be the one character that just, you know, keeps getting knocked down, keeps getting back up again.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, he doesn't stay dead for too long.
Yeah.
You know, what was that quote Obi-Wan said? Man, he was talking to somebody. I know it was a Clone Wars reference. It was to Ahsoka. He told Ahsoka, he was like, I killed him once, he doesn't seem to stay dead.
And she references it in season 7.
That was literally awesome. Cool. That was like the most fan service moment I've ever seen.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Maul real quick, this is a super quick side note, so I don't want to get carried off on it, but I do think it's really cool how everything came full circle for him too. You know, he starts out, he's doing all these things, and he ends up killing Qui-Gon, and then, you know, Obi-Wan chops him in half, and, you know, we think he's gone, but Obi-Wan's holding Qui-Gon, and, you know, he's cradling him, trying to make sure he's okay, and hear his last wishes, hear what he has to say before he dies, and then when Darth Maul dies later on, Obi-Wan does the same thing. It's just quick. He dispatches of him, and then he grabs him and cradles him, and they have a talk for a second.
It was an awesome moment.
I thought it was really cool, and you know, it seems like Darth Maul actually, he at least got to die in peace too, because his whole thing was revenge, and then and he's like, is he the chosen one? And he's just like, yeah, and I feel like at least in his mind, he was like, okay, that means they're finally screwed. I didn't get to do it, but at least someone else will.
Yeah.
Peace out, I'm going to sleep. You know?
For sure.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, no, I did really like that scene. I mean, I loved seeing Obi-Wan again. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, such a good character, such a good moment.
For sure.
And, I mean, Obi-Wan was the only one that could have done it. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you don't get to kill Maul without Obi-Wan being there. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
If anybody else did it, I would have been sad.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan's got to do that.
Yeah.
Come on.
For sure. There's no one else. So, I guess we're going to get on to our final question. What do you feel the franchise has done for you? So, I guess to kind of elaborate a little bit on that, like, what are some things that you feel like you've taken away from Star Wars that have made you a better person? Or, moral lessons or anything from the franchise that you feel like was a really good takeaway that has stuck with you at least?
Compassion and hope, I would say,
Yeah.
were really, really heavy for me. I mean, and that's
Big themes in Star
I
Wars.
think, those are shown in every single episode. Really, I mean, I can't. Yeah, no, I don't think any of them don't show that. Yeah. I mean, even
for sure.
even in the spin-offs, I mean, you probably say. I mean, even in Han Solo, I mean, you got him basically acting as a smuggler, a little criminal.
But showing compassion for
he's
Leia.
she's still showing compassion. You still got him even in his movie that they made just for him. And he's still trying to show compassion. He's still trying to do the right thing despite what what he is. He's technically a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And I always just find it really cool. Season 6 of Clone Wars. And what Anakin was having to deal with on the side, seeing the results of what happened with Ahsoka and never losing faith in her. Season 7 of Clone Wars, where despite Maul having a pretty convincing argument of what was going to happen to Anakin and her saying, no, that's not going to happen, it's not what it was, which was heartbreaking, by the way, because dramatic irony, we all know what's going to happen. I wonder how different it would have been if she would have accepted his offer, alternate timeline movies, question mark. But yeah, no, I mean, it's always there, all the good characters and even sometimes the bad characters flip back, and there's always hope for something better, always to show people compassion and try to make sure that you're doing the right thing, that they're doing the right things. And I just found it really interesting. After all, George Lucas, I mean, he wanted these movies to be able to accommodate to kids as well. I mean, they had moral lessons implanted in them for a reason, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, Star Wars is definitely meant to touch everyone, at least in some sort of way. And I feel like if it hasn't, then I don't think you look deep enough.
Sociopath. No,
well, I don't think that I don't think that you viewed the story as it was meant to be viewed.
Yeah.
So I really do like the amount of inspiration that people can get from these movies and TV shows and video games, and I mean, I really hope that we continue to see more. Obviously, The Mandalorian is doing a really good job of stressing a lot of those same points.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I mean, hopefully, we can see that keep going for as long as the fans want it, which is forever. So,
Yeah.
But
Please.
yes, never stop.
Never.
Ever.
I'll fight you. You've given me enough reasons to fight you. I'll definitely fight you this time.
Yes. But I mean, I would love to see more of that. There's obviously some rumored TV shows coming out, which would be really cool too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's a lot out there that has yet to be discovered and discussed, and I think that we can always hope. As Star Wars fans, if we do anything well, it's hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I need that Old Republic series. I hope for it. High budget Old Republic series. I would cry.
Keanu.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is Darth Revan.
Keanu.
Even though it's impossible.
Let us see Keanu.
Keanu Reeves, see it, dude. Petition to Disney. Play Darth Revan.
That's all we want. That's all we want.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Live action. Revan.
Keanu Reeves is Jesus.
What is this blasphemy? But
yeah, definitely compassion and hope. That's really what I've pulled from it for sure. It's just treat others well, try to understand each other. Just be a good figure for people.
Yeah.
So,
is there anything that you would want to tell somebody watching this video, or to watch, or to look at maybe from a different perspective, or is there anything that you would look at even as a project and say, if you haven't seen this, look at this and evaluate it?
Like just project in general, just tell somebody to try to look deeper into it, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably say episode 6.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still fairly straightforward for sure. But I mean, the ending where Luke wouldn't give up. I mean, you can watch that and be like, yeah, that's cool. As just a casual viewer, but when you really think about it, like, Darth Vader has killed thousands of people with his own hands, with his lightsaber.
He literally committed a Jedi genocide.
Yeah. I mean, he led the onslaught. He was space Hitler, dude. And, like, terrible, terrible guy. And he didn't even give up on him. I mean, he started that movie out too, after a little bit of a hiatus between 5 and 6. He's goes from this Jedi in training, he wants to be something, and then all of a sudden he shows up and he's just this complete badass. He's just like, I'm awesome. Look at me, bro. I'm
Goes from whiny little dude on Bespin who just got his arm cut off to,
oh my god, I can't do a handstand.
To space pimp Skywalker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just seeing him start out like that too, like you can tell he knows he's hot. Like he knows he's the one.
Bro, when you see him throw that force choke on the freaking the Gamorrean, that was the moment. Like I was like, oh, he ain't playing.
He's there. He knows he's awesome. He can do whatever he wants as long as it's not somebody who's better than him. And I mean, he basically won against his father in the fight. I mean, he could have easily just been like, well, as much as I don't want to do this, I'm gonna do it and just end it, and that be that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely had more potential than his dad, and I mean, realistically, in a 1v1, he definitely could have like murdered Vader right there and became the Emperor's right hand.
Yeah,
but
instead, he just never seems to give into that temptation. He's always thinking like, I need to try to do what's right. I need to save these people. I need to not let this person die, etc. Which I think. It's just kind of interesting to see. You look at a lot of movies from back then, and I mean, sure, a lot of them could still be really good. Most of them don't quite have that much going on, Most of them, you don't watch it, and they don't give you any reason to make you think critically about, what was he thinking in this moment?
Yeah.
Why didn't he just cut down his dad? He doesn't know the dude,
Yeah. I mean, he definitely had every reason to.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
It's Space Hitler.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely...
You met him once, and basically chopped off your hand.
It speaks to Luke's character.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I know we've kind of spoke about this a little bit before, but you have this person who, basically is not willing to give up on his dad. Yeah. I mean, he knows that his dad is supposedly evil and, this horrible person, and even with all of that, he knows that there's still good in him. And, he knows that small piece inside of him is what he's looking for. It's what he needs. Yeah. And, like I said, I mean, I think that speaks to Luke's character. That's why I felt like 8 was so detrimental to the character of Luke. You literally have him igniting a lightsaber in a way that, obviously he has every intention of literally murdering his nephew. And, like, how that even comes to premonition is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, because realistically, like, here you have somebody who's literally committed a mass Jedi genocide, and your nephew who's having dark side, like, thoughts.
Who you also grew up around, who, like, he grew up with you. He literally is your nephew. You're his uncle. You've watched him grow up.
And you're like, you know what? Nah, like, I'm literally finna behead this kid.
Yeah, like, you just walk in his hut and you go, I'm thinking about it.
Which,
evil.
I mean, so, like, I get the hesitation or whatever, and you know they can say he was possessed by the dark side. I don't care about any of that, dude. Everybody knew what you went to do when you walked into that hut, and the fact that you wouldn't do that to your dad, your evil dad, but you would do it to somebody who literally hasn't harmed anyone at that point.
Yeah.
No.
Not to mention Luke. I mean, he's had a couple times that we've seen him like have a little bit of a peak. Like I'm mad. I don't know. Like in the throne room in episode 6, whenever the Emperor's like, "Do it, strike me down, come on." Then he actually grabs his lightsaber for a second. He's like, "Ah!" and screams and tries to stab him with it. Like he gets mad. He's like, "You know, screw it. I'm gonna murder you. Let's go." And you know, I mean. We're talking to a dude who's
1v1 me. Start from
seen
match.
these things
Quick
himself. Yeah. 360 no scope me.
Yeah.
Try it. But yeah, I mean, you know, he's experienced these things. He's seen these things, and I mean, it's like your nephew's just thinking about it, and you're like, I sense bad. I'm thinking about stabbing.
Murder.
Like, dude, you know what the path of walking the light side is, you know? I mean, it's trying to be good and resisting the temptation of the darkness. You know that's a side of it, and then all of a sudden you're just like,
I just want to know.
I don't think so.
Disney, point the finger at somebody. Is it Ryan? Is it Kathleen? Who is it? Who am I supposed to be mad at? I just want to know who I'm supposed to be mad at. Can somebody tell me who I need to talk to? Because I'll go talk to him. We'll have a conversation. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want clarification.
Conversation, bro, not a choke slam. I'm kidding. Don't assault people.
Hit him with the Vader.
Yeah, just walk up and be like,
"You are allowed to force choke anyone. All right, that's okay. That's not violence. All right."
I mean, yeah.
Look, I'm force choking him right now, but if you touch them, that's illegal. We do not encourage any violence. All right, no violence.
Honestly, if anybody could figure out how to use the Force, I mean, I don't have any right telling them what they can do with it at that point.
I mean,
if I'm just
they are probably not subject to the laws of man.
I mean, if I'm talking smack, I'm just chilling at a restaurant, some dude, I'm just roasting him for no reason. He's just like, and starts strangling.
At that point, I think I probably deserve it.
I'm just like, all right, I guess. I mean, keep going. This is my fault.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, but I don't know. I mean, which obviously, you know, that was an issue, but I don't want to hate on the sequels. Like, I really don't feel like, you know...
They have their good parts.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
And even 8 has good moments.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, like, that was such a detrimental, you know, character-breaking flaw for me that it just...
Yeah. And then also for
Something
him
that still
to not
bugs me.
find a way to show up himself to try to, you know, talk his nephew back. Instead, he projects himself there.
He has no way off the island. Literally, like, pulls his X-Wing out of the freaking water the next day. Like, what even? I don't even
You just
get
forget
it.
your mechanical
Yeah,
skills.
yeah.
This is Star Wars. I don't think a little water is going to keep it from ever working again.
I mean, Ray is, like, still flying that thing around, so
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's probably...
Keep talking.
It's probably only
We'll
staying...
check. Gucci Mane.
It's probably literally only staying together for the express fact of it's Ray. You know, everything just works out for her.
I mean, I love Daisy Ridley. But, yeah, I mean, I wish they definitely could have done better even with her, too, for sure. But
Well, like I said, things just work out.
that's not what we're
for
talking about, though.
her. Yeah, things just work out for her. It's alright. You know.
I like her as a character itself. I mean, just, you know, they did good with Luke by having him be new to everything, kind of just glimpsing, and then he's in training, and then, you know, sure, there's some mystery there, but it cuts, and we know he's been having training, and that's why he's a beast now. And then for her, it's just like, nah, I can fight a Siddler with a
Man,
lightsaber. I know how to use the staff a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I could spend another like
a
hour
whole
and a
whole
half.
episode talking about
Yeah, like literally just talking about how much I do not like her as a character. I mean, let me rephrase it. So, I like her as a character. I don't like her progression as a character.
or what they showed us, at least.
Yeah, I love how the sequels literally just like writes in canon in the book. like you never see any of this stuff on screen, but it's just like implied that like, oh, well, this is how this happened and this is how this happened. And I'm sitting here like, bro, what? like
these are the movies, man. This is what most people are seeing is the movie. You gotta make it convincing enough.
I'm like, look, I'm not gonna be able to convince my dad to go read a Star Wars book. Like, I'm just putting that out there. So like, I don't know what. It just doesn't even make any sense. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But yeah. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. You got anything else?
I don't believe so.
Well, all right.
Everything, yeah.
This has been the first podcast. Expect many more. We might have this guy back if y'all like him. If you don't, he will be shunned into exile, never to be seen again.
Correct.
So.
And then as well, if you don't hate me and you guys want us to do any sort of things on specific subjects, because I know there are a couple points we elaborated on some stuff, decent amount. If you want us to express our thoughts on certain things in the Star Wars universe, we're definitely down for that as well.
Yeah, leave a comment for sure. I'm definitely going to be reading them. So, other than that, this has been the Mary Mando podcast. This is The Way. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. This has been the Mary Mando. Enjoy the rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.